out of Princeton University at age 20 to create a social venture that aims to eliminate the idea of waste. TerraCycle has since become one of the fastest growing green companies in the world. Joining us now to explain how he turns trash into cash is the company's founder and CEO, Tom Szaky. He joins us now from Skype from New Jersey. Those are your headquarters. Good to have you with us today, Tom. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be on the show.
Tom, first talk to us about what you're doing, turning waste into cash, TerraCycle. What exactly is your company's proposition?
Well, so what TerraCycle focuses on is every object in the world one day becomes waste, but many objects don't have any recycling solution on them. In fact, 80% of all consumer goods can only end up in the garbage. And so basically what TerraCycle does around the world is we make things that are non-recyclable, nationally recyclable. So we've created national Canadian cigarette recycling, national Canadian cereal bag recycling, and so on and so forth, with hundreds of various waste streams.
Can you give us more examples of exactly what that is, besides cigarettes?
Absolutely. So we work with companies, for example, in Canada, companies like Huggies, to be able to make their diaper packaging nationally recyclable, or companies like Procter & Gamble with Febreze to be able to make air care packaging nationally recyclable. So these are packages or products that you couldn't recycle today, and through the funding of various consumer product companies, we can offer a free service where Canadians anywhere in the country can go to the TerraCycle website, terracycle.ca, get free shipping, send us the waste, and then we will circularly process it in some way, either through reuse, upcycling, or recycling, so that it can go out again and not ever become garbage.
Tom, what are the economics of this type of business? So, when we look at businesses going back many, many years, there's always been a question mark in terms of how profitable are they? Are they subsidized? What do the economics look like for you?
Well, TerraCycle for 11 years in a row has only grown. We're now around 25 million or so in sales, operating in 25 countries. And basically the economics of garbage are, things like an aluminum can are recyclable because the aluminum is valuable enough to offset the costs of the collection and the processing. But everything else in the world, from a pen to a flexible package to a juice box, are not recyclable, not because they're technically not recyclable. They, in fact, are technically recyclable. The reason, though, they are not recycled is because they cost more to collect and process than the resulting material is worth. And so what TerraCycle focuses on is finding funding from consumer product companies or governments or even individuals to be able to offset that economic delta.
Right. And what is that looking like when I would assume that you have to go out there and establish the relationships, give the pitch in terms of why this would help their business, make it symbiotic, beneficial for both. How is that going, and how much opportunity do you see in terms of the size of the market potential?
Well, I think it's a brand new market, so it's not like there's an established matrix here, but I do think it's quite large. There's definitely, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars available directly from consumer product brands, and we're just really tapping the surface on that, and I think there's a significant opportunity for growth. But one of the areas TerraCycle is really seeing even more growth opportunity is where consumers directly purchase the service. So we sell a system called Zero Waste Boxes, where you can go to our website and soon other retailers, like large office retailers in Canada, and you'll be able to go to their website and order a zero waste box for, frankly, anything you'd want to recycle. Now, the prices will be related to that waste stream, but this now allows a consumer to directly buy the service of recycling something they couldn't recycle before. And this has been an area that's grown for us almost by orders of magnitude per year. And in fact, in Canada, just a year ago, Progressive Waste Solutions, which is Canada's #1 garbage company by market share, purchased 20% of TerraCycle Canada. So it's a great symbol of really showing that there's relevance in the Canadian marketplace and that there's a big opportunity for business growth.
Well, congrats on that. I have definitely watched that company. Tom, let me ask you this, though. I mean, as a business owner founding a company, from what I understand, you did turn down $1 million in capital at one point because there seemed to be a difference in terms of your view of the company and the capital that was maybe going to be given to you. How difficult of a decision was that, and what's your advice to others who are searching for capital?
Well, it is very difficult when you turn down money, especially when there's no money in the bank. When we turned down $1 million, we really only had a few $100s left in our bank account. But I think one of the most important things, especially as if you're an entrepreneur and you're at that forming stage of a business, is to be very aligned on what is the purpose of the business. Our purpose was, or is, to solve various non-recyclable waste streams, and that purpose would have been challenged had we taken the capital. So I think there's great funding sources out there, but you got to pick the right ones because at the beginning of a funding relationship, everything sounds really great. It's when years go by and maybe you miss a few targets and maybe there's pressure on the funding source to create liquidity for their investors. That's where you really have to, watch out. And I think being aligned on the terms and also the goals of the funding source with the entrepreneur is critical. Or when that pressure comes years later, it's not a pretty conversation.
Fair point. Tom, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
That was Tom Szaky, the founder and CEO of TerraCycle. He joined us via Skype from the New Jersey headquarters.